But I have a message for you. Israel will win this battle. We'll win this battle because we don't have a choice. After generations in which our people were slaughtered, remorselessly butchered, and no one raised a finger in our defense, we now have a state. We now have a brave army, an army of incomparable courage, and we are defending ourselves. As the book of Samuel says in the Bible, Netzach Yisrael lo yishaker. The eternity of Israel will not falter. In the Jewish people's epic journey from antiquity, in our odyssey through the tempests and upheavals of modern times, that ancient promise has always been kept, and it will hold true for all time. To borrow a great poet's phrase, Israel will not go gently into that good night. We will never need to rage against the dying of the light, because the torch of Israel will forever shine bright. To the people of Israel and to the soldiers of Israel, I say, be strong and of good courage. חזקו ויצאו ואל תיראו מפניהם, כי אדוני אלוהיך הוא ההולך עמך, לא ירפך ולא יעזבך. Am Yisrael Chai, the people of Israel live now, tomorrow, forever.
His insecurity started from Borno, Boko Haram. They give birth to ISWAP. Now we are dealing with Mahmuda, Lakurawa, try to tear Nigeria apart. Do you think Nigeria should have issue with Israel striking the bottom, I mean, the genesis of their problem? Or how will you describe how President Bola Ahmed Tinubu condemned the Israel nation, I mean, attack on Iran?
I think it takes us down to Shettima, when Shettima addressed at the UNGA, United Nations General Assembly, when he was giving an audience to speak about, the Middle East crisis. He took a side, of course he's a Muslim, by telling the Israeli or the United Nations as at that time to open up for a two-state agreement between Israel and Palestinians, which the Israeli ambassador to the United Nations as at that time condemned outrightly, and I think to an extent that was recorded against Nigeria by the Israeli government. But outside that, just to give you an insight, on the stand of Nigerian government, let me take you to during Buhari era, when Buhari visited Washington under Donald Trump's first term in office, and what he said about insecurity in Nigeria. He pushed it away completely from the Fulanis and was trying to bring Gaddafi factor into it, but he couldn't even pronounce the word Fulani, during that meeting, But so, what does that signify to you? Is Nigeria an Islamic nation? That is a question where, I expect, viewers of this video to give response to. Secondly, looking at it clearly from another perspective, if Nigeria is not an Islamic nation, Nigeria is a secular nation, but to the Northerners and the Fulanis, it is an Islamic nation in disguise, and which is not acceptable by the Biafrans. I can tell you that clearly. And that's the reason why we are seeing, this arrangement secretly between the Northerners and the Yorubas ruling this country because of what it is being seen and understood to be, an Islamic arrangement that started far back, which I would not want to dive into, open up on that regard, but just to, get us along as we discuss this issue extensively. Then, on why would Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that is running a Muslim ticket? You know what I mean by one is from the aspect of the north, and the other one is from the southern part of the country, which is southwest. They're all Muslims and they're all in the seat of power. And in regards to that, we should be careful because Israel is already, in a fury stage now. Because anything you say will be used against you at any time, at any day, And the world attention has been drawn to Nigeria from the United States of America over the killing of Christians has been tagged, and the committee has already been set up by Donald Trump in that regard. So if you look at it from that aspect, you understand that every move, every statement made against Israel will be counted. Benjamin Netanyahu, we understand where he's coming from, and he has sworn to defend Israel to the last. Then, in the real sense of it, without outside provocation, I didn't see the Nigerian government react to October 7 invasion of the Israeli community, and over 3,000 to 4,000 Jews, Israelis, were murdered, by terrorist organizations, and we didn't see Nigerian government react to that. So what does that tell you? That what we are seeing there is very suspicious, coming from Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and of course the Northerners, the Fulanis, who have taken political power from the Hausa people. So are you there trying to send a certain signal again to the world, that is the stand of Nigeria in the Middle East crisis? Of course, that will be rejected by the Biafrans completely, because I didn't see any reason why Nigeria should not comment when Israel, unprovoked, will be invaded by Palestinians and Iran and their allies, and to make sure that Israel does not exist. And they have sworn an oath that Israel must not exist as a nation, and Israel has come to stay.
Before I go to consequence of what Nigeria government is about to do, invite, the wrath of Israel on Nigeria, which I think we cannot bear. But let us establish some ground here. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a Muslim, but he has a Christian wife. Do you think, to even go further along that line, a Muslim group from Southwest has just accused President Bola Ahmed Tinubu of trying to favor Christian against Muslim, that he didn't declare free train transport for Muslim, why he declared it for Christian? I'm going somewhere. Now, this is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Do you see him that he's playing to the gallery, or he really mean business? He's just trying to please some part of Nigeria?
Bola Ahmed Tinubu has done some kind of outstanding things. I remember just recently he went to the Caliphate, the north, and established a military Islamic school. And he also established other Islamic, institutions, in the north. So you can't tell me that it's actually realistic, that it's not balanced. It's unbalanced over Christian and Muslim factor in Nigeria. Bola Ahmed Tinubu belongs to the Islamic, agenda. Yes, Islamic side, and that's one of the reasons why they actually drafted him in. I can remember, when during Jonathan, anytime Jonathan goes to address United Nations General Assembly, he make it very neutral, he make it very clearly, where he stand, on the side of secularity, and that is what it is. That's what a president. He do not just come out and take a stand against a state like Israel, So you are questioning the rationale behind Israeli decision on the invasion of Iran. But the fact of what we are saying in Nigerian context today, every conquest we are seeing in Nigeria now is being driven by religion. Yes, I can tell you that, it was, they use religion first, then they come with political conquest. On the process of political conquest, in between, it's a jihadist movement. And that's what we are seeing presently now in Nigeria. And nobody will come and tell you that. Nobody's going to explain this to you because they will tell you it is no-go area. So it's a very clear thing on where Bola Ahmed.
Let me help you in that area. Islam and it's one of a religious and political, mixed together. And that is what we have been witness up to this moment. Hardly you can separate religious and political leaders in Saudi Arabia and some other Islam country like Morocco and the rest of them. You can keep on.
Yes. That's a very clear thing, and because one is seen as to be extremist. One is to be seen to belong to a sect. So or if you look at how Saudi Arabia liberalized Islamic religion in their area, it is not a violent one. It is not a conquest one. It is based on your convictions and your faith, which is okay. There's no religion that one can say clearly that it is bad. It is people that turn that religion to what it is. We must understand that very clearly. That takes us to in the headquarters of most of these things we are talking about today, including Nigeria. We have the Sunnis, we have the Shia, and you see these people, have their taproot in Iran. That's the truth, So that's why when you see some of the, and they are financing, conquest agenda, terrorist activities all over the world, and making sure that Israel remains the target, making sure that the Israel that stand, because it's only Israel that can challenge them. There's no other nation that can challenge them. So in Africa and West Africa, and of course in Nigeria, what is on ground? It is only Biafra restoration and recognition by the world leaders that can stop this conquest that is ongoing now, politically and otherwise. You can see the Fulanis everywhere. So that's the only thing, and I think to an extent, because of the global issues, we are seeing Russia, Ukraine, we are seeing Israel, trying to curtail the activities of Hamas, and to an extent, all the allies of Hamas, and of course, it is time to take on Iran, and they have to do it, and without anybody's support, and they have to do it because they have to exist. So if you look at it very well, you cannot compare Saudi Arabia with the extremist, side of what we are seeing.
Anyway, Mr. Chinedu, I don't want to go deviate from what I want to bring out about this one. Iran, Saudi Arabia, both of them, they are Muslim, and what all of them are looking for is conquest. Some approach, adapt violence. Some approach maybe diplomatic approach. I don't want us to go into that area. What we want to go now is about the implication of Nigeria to intervene in this kind of a situation, because recently Donald Trump has come out to, accentuate, to go along with the Israel that Iran should expect more. Although Israel said that United States of America is not involved in military action, but they borrowed them some intelligence. Who borrow you that intelligence? It's the United States of America. Don't you think Nigeria can incur the wrath of America?
Of course,
with this kind of a statement from
Nigeria. Definitely. Anybody that's against any nation, anybody, any individual, any group, any party that's against the reality on ground in the Middle East that Israel have come to stay, they need to accept that. Any nation that does not accept that will be seen as an anti-Jew. And you know what it means? This is not the era of Hitler, where over 6 million Jews were being killed.
The era of anti-Semitism has come.
Yes. This time around, both men and women are involved in the struggle of existence of Israel. And there's nothing anybody can do about it. And thank God they are blessed now with a prime minister who understands what Israel means to the global world, what Israel means to the Middle East, what Israel means, to the faith we are talking about today, about Christian faith, and anything that is going to stop that, people are going to experience the other side of it. Israel is not a troublesome nation, but you dare not dare the lion. Like Benjamin Netanyahu said that this is an operation that rising lion. Is connived with the rising sun. See, that's what it means. Rising sun, rising lion. That's what could name attack against Iran. And that's what's going to happen at the end of the day. And because it's getting to the level that, the international community, the world leaders themselves are going to look at the issue of West Africa, look at the issue of Nigeria, and know that, the Christians in Nigeria have been being killed for over more than 1,600 years now, and nobody is talking about it. And the only force, that can stand against any conquest in that regard is Biafra. So there's no two ways about it. So if you look at what Benjamin Netanyahu is doing now, I thank God that it is Benjamin Netanyahu as even the Prime Minister of Israel now. How do you look at it if it was somebody else? What would have been the fate of Israel? They would have allowed Iran, to enrich uranium beyond civilian use. And what that means is because a threat. Because everybody in Iran, apart from a certain percentage, which is very insignificant, are extremists. And you can see that nobody can stand against Iran presently. And let me send this message to the Bola Ahmed Tinubu government, or APC, or Asorok, whatever, or anybody, or the Northerners, or whatever it is now. Nobody can defeat Israel. There's nobody currently now.
Are you sure? Because we even saw some Northerners recently that they are protesting against Israel. Even at the Iran, they were saying, death to Israel, death to US. Are you sure that nobody can defeat Israel? Let them know.
Of course. Apart from the United States of America, if you look at the background, infrastructural, social, scientific, technological growth of the United States of America today, the Jews are at the background. Everywhere, even in Poland, even in Finland, the Jews are everywhere. But you see, they choose to be significant as a nation by choosing. They're the tiniest nation, one of the tiniest nations in the world, but they're the strongest on earth currently now because they went through a lot of things. Israel is the only nation that has fought over 4,000 wars. So you can imagine the experience. So this is a place where everybody in Israel is conscious of who he is. So when you discover who you are, that's the beginning of what will make you. When you don't, Nigeria has never discovered themselves. Talk less of, how they are going to make Nigeria work until Nigeria discover themselves.
Mr. Shinedu, as we are going now, let's make this conclusion. Israel as a nation has established. Iran as a nation has established, but Iran is making threat that is interested in wiping out this. He called them the Zionists from that area. What do you think the world should do? I mean, to see the end of this endless war. It's the endless war that we usually see every time. 2 week, 1 week, 2 week, 1 week between Israel and Iran. What do you think we can do to see the end of this?
I think the world should come together, to stop extremism in the world. There's no country in the world who has not been a victim. Even the United Kingdom,
And
even
United
France,
States,
even Germany,
America.
even Russia, even America. There's no country on earth that has not been a victim of extremism. So what leaders need to do now is to look at the Middle East diplomatically and make sure that they do not establish any form of threat. As simple as that. That's the only way to go to restore peace. And anybody that raises his head, in that Middle East, in form of anything or any, well, come to think about it. If it talk about, I think they should, to an extent, everybody goes to Mecca. But look at Saudi Arabia. They are not. They are just on their own. So why would other people, instead of taking care of their citizens, and know that clearly these people have a limited time to stay on the earth, and while they stay on the earth, they have everything it takes to service themselves, live happily, quietly, peacefully. Still, their only aim was to make sure